Welcome to the Health Angle Podcast with Dr. Mike Headlee and Dr. Gordon Fimreite, where we'll be exploring different angles of health to achieve the best version of yourself. Now here's your hosts, Dr. Mike and Dr. Gordon.
Welcome everybody. I am Dr. Mike Headlee and with me is Dr. Gordon Fimreite. Welcome, Gordy.
Hey, Mike. Welcome, everyone. Today's subject is the best sources of protein. So we're not only going to cover the best sources of protein, but we're also going to cover how much protein does the average person really need. I think most people, when they think of protein, they think of building and repair, but there's a whole lot of other functions that protein can tap into, including transporting vitamins and minerals within the body to enzyme and hormone synthesis to immune system function. So, Mike, let's dive into this subject and welcome to the Health Angle Podcast.
I'm excited. I'm going to talk about some protein powders and different sources of protein and the ups and downside of that. And we know our listeners have seen you demonstrate your recipe for your smoothies with protein powder. So I want to dive into that as well. But I'm curious, Gordy, when you go to the gym and you see really big muscles and bodybuilders, do you see people drinking protein shakes or eating certain things in the gym or bars or anything like that? Or do they preload workout, post-workout protein? I'm kind of curious what your experience is in the gym.
Yeah, for those people that are really intense into their workouts, and you can tell by their physiques, these people are carrying around their protein drinks or shakes and stuff. And of course, there's a whole protocol for, they always say the best meal is after your workouts. And so they got their whole protocol after the workout as far as what they're doing. And I think protein is tricky because a lot of people think that, oh my gosh, I'm going to have like a big sitting of all this protein. But the reality is your body doesn't necessarily use all that protein right there and then. It's either used right away for building, repair, whatever, all these processes that it's needed, or it's excreted. So we need it continuously throughout the day. And I think that's why you see these big physiques, that they do have protein throughout the day. But I think when it comes to us normal people, we draw a blank. We don't think about that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of confusion out there about protein. And so hopefully we can really make it clear on how much do you need. We'll give some sources and types, and there's a lot to it. And as people age, sometimes they'll just have toast and jam and coffee for breakfast, and I'll have a bowl of cereal for lunch or some oatmeal, a couple eggs for supper. Is that enough protein in your 70s and 80s? Well, we want to tell how much and different really good quality sources, because quality does matter. But it is confusing. I want to lose weight, so I guess I'll just kind of starve myself, and then my muscles kind of get weaker and stuff. So this is a really, really good topic to explain a lot of some myths and misconceptions about protein. So do you want to dive in and tell us a little bit about what protein is and different sources and the amino acid compilation?
Sure. The first thing I want to touch upon is how much protein do we need? I think that's a good place to start. Most adults need 0.8 grams of protein per pound of your ideal body weight. So in other words, if you want to calculate this, divide your body weight in pounds, that is, by 2.2. This will put it into kilograms. And then multiply that by 0.8. So if you're 150 pounds, divide that by 2.2 and multiply it by 0.8. And that means that you need 54 grams of protein per day. And if you're 200 pounds, you basically divide that again, 2.2, and then multiply that by 0.8, which is about 78 grams of protein per day. They say that the average person needs about 15% of their daily calories devoted to protein. So this is a great way to kind of monitor how much protein you're actually getting. And of course, all our labels should say how many grams of protein, so you can really closely monitor. If I had one recommendation, I would take the amount of grams that you need, put it on a stickum, put it on your refrigerator, and make sure you're getting that every day and spread it out through the entire day. So since most of your protein is either used or excreted, again, I'm going to just kind of reiterate this point. We need to supply enough protein throughout the day. So not these big protein meals, just try to disperse them throughout the day.
I think that's really, really, really good because my ideal body weight is 200 pounds. So I need 78 grams per day. That's critical. I eat 3 meals a day max. I don't eat 6 small meals or whatever. So yeah, that's really, really, really critical. Great idea to put it on your cupboard or refrigerator until it really becomes routine to make sure you're getting that adequate protein. A couple other things. 9 essential amino acids must be obtained from our diet as our body cannot synthesize them. That's critical. And we're going to talk about different types of proteins and things like that. And there's just so many things that protein does to our body. And animal protein, because there's some controversy I see, and you probably have seen several vegetarians and vegans, but animal protein not only provides not only essential amino acids, but also nutrients essential for our other overall health, such as vitamin B12, retinol, taurine. They support brain and heart and muscle function. And then what's really interesting, and I know we've talked about collagen a few different times, collagen, which makes up about 30% of our body's protein. So that's essential for maintaining the strength and flexibilities of our tissues, of our skin and tendons and bones and joints. And then approximately 1/3 of our daily protein intake should be in the form of collagen. And I'm not convinced that is with most people. I don't know if a lot of people take collagen and put that into their equation for protein. And so I'll talk about that after you go through your top 10 list.
Yeah, I just want to address that real quick. I personally not only put like the protein powder, but I put collagen polypeptide powder in as well. And I try to make that part of my routine in the morning through a smoothie. But they do make protein powders with collagen polypeptides. There's a brand called Organic Protein, and there's various names, but it's that brand, the organic brand for protein and polypeptides. So I'm going to go through some fast facts. First, your body can't store protein, like carbohydrates and fats. Our body can store carbohydrates and fats. And when people think of carbos, I can, store that in my body. Most people think of like pizzas and pastas. I'm not talking about those type of carbos, even though they are. I'm talking like healthy ones. You want to get good carbs like fruits, grains, nuts, seeds, bran, things like that. And fats, you want good fats, avocados, flaxseed, and olive oil. So those would be ideal. So again, protein doesn't store. So once you consume your protein, your body uses what it needs for various functions, including the muscle building and repair and stuff like that. And any excess is converted into energy or it's excreted. In other words, your body doesn't use it if you get too much in one sitting. This is why it's important to consume protein consistently throughout the day rather than the big sum. And I just want to point out that you said this, Mike, 30%. 1/3 of your entire body's protein is collagen. That's the glue that keeps your body together, from joints to the bones to the tendons and ligaments, connective tissue, and the list goes on. How important is protein and collagen polypeptides? So protein is involved. This is number 2. Protein is involved in hormone regulation. In other words, your body's internal balance, such as things like metabolism, growth, like we just talked about, and blood sugar. You don't even think of that. Protein is needed. It's really important with these hormones. Insulin, growth hormones, thyroid are proteins. So protein doesn't just build muscle. It also plays a critical role in maintaining the body's internal balance. So definitely needed. So 3rd point, protein helps absorb nutrients. Protein is involved in the transport and storage of nutrients. People don't think of that when they get their other vitamins through other foods or even through supplements. Those have to be transported and stored. Those nutrients have to be done, and it's done through protein in part. And it'll transport fats, vitamins and minerals to the cells where they're needed. And without enough protein, your body may struggle and just can't absorb important nutrients, and that can lead to deficiencies. And number 4, not all proteins are created equal. Mike, you had just addressed that, and you had just addressed that we need those 20 different amino acids. 9 are essential, meaning that we need to get 9 through our diet. And are we doing that? I don't know. Complete proteins are contained those 9 essential amino acids. Those are usually considered complete, and that'll include eggs, meat, and dairy away. And I'll go through a list too here, Mike, at the end. But most plant-based proteins like beans and rice and quinoa, these are not complete. These are actually incomplete. So a lot of people think, oh, I'll get all my protein through like quinoa or rice, but we don't really get it complete. So we really need to include the animal-based as well, or even another protein or supplement to complement that.
What I think is really interesting, listen to this, Gordy. See if this makes sense. The greater your muscle mass, the higher your survivability against all diseases, including cancer. Because then we're strong and resilient. And if we have something that happens, we have some muscle to lose. If we don't have much muscle to begin with, then we're already weak. And I tell my patients quite often that the biggest protector of our joints, whether it's our fingers, our knees, our spine, are our muscles. So muscles are largely made up of protein, like we said, and collagen, but we want those muscles to be really, really strong so they protect our joints from a musculoskeletal point of view. But then from a disease point of view, we want to have really good body mass index and strength in case we get a bad diagnosis and have to fight something. Making sure we get enough collagen, 30% of our total protein in our body. And besides connective tissues like ligaments, cartilage, and fascia, which tend to get weaker and less elastic with age, connective tissue injuries are really rampant. I see that with all this pickleball craze the last few years. People, not being athletic, and they start hitting and playing and falling, and they get a lot of connective issues and sprained ankles and sprained shoulders and wrists and all these other things. And one of the things to prevent that is making sure we get enough protein and enough collagen. But here's a couple other lesser known benefits of the collagen if we get adequate supply is it deepens our sleep due to its glycine content, reduces joint pain and stiffness, including osteoarthritis type pain, improves our gut health and digestion, thanks to its presence of glycine, and our intestines are made a lot of cartilage, improving our blood pressure and reduced cardiovascular damage, improves glucose tolerance, reduces inflammation and oxidative damage. And what I tell people a lot with collagen, vitamin C is required to have optimum absorption. So a lot of collagen supplements and powders will have vitamin C added with that if you don't take extra vitamin C. And for wound healing, whether you have a paper cut or I saw a patient the other day come into my office and he had stitches because he had some skin cancer removed and they had to dig deep in there. And I asked him if he does take collagen to help his skin restore and be healthy. And then also if he took vitamin C and collagen just to have stronger, thicker skin and to help that wound heal faster. So anyway, I'm just a big fan of collagen, and we went through our top supplements, and that's on my top 5.
You were talking at the beginning of these weightlifters coming into the weight room and drinking their protein shakes or whatever they're taking. But as far as protein synthesis, just to make a point, it does take several hours after consuming protein for the body to begin the process of actually using it for rebuilding and repair. So again, I want to reiterate this point, consuming protein regularly throughout the day rather than a single large meal. This is the best way for growth and recovery in the body. And then I want a couple more points, Mike, and I'll throw it back to you. Protein isn't just for bodybuilders, and we know this. Well, protein is often associated with that muscle building. It's important that it can have a lot of factors and a lot of things that people don't think about. Skin, hair, nails, immune support, getting just an immune system that can fight, this time of year, colds and flus. Protein is needed. Protein also regulates hormones and keeps your body ability to regulate those hormones and keeps your bones strong. So it's really essential for overall health. And then protein, you had mentioned this, Mike, earlier, that it can help you lose weight. Absolutely. Protein helps you feel fuller for longer, and This reduces an overall calorie effect by kind of curbing your hungry so you don't feel like the need for eating as much. It prevents overeating. And then studies have shown that higher protein intake can actually boost fat loss and preserve lean muscle mass during weight loss. So critical. And then too much protein can be stressful for your kidneys in some cases. A lot of people maybe don't have to really worry about this, but I think of these athletes in the gym that are really doing some muscle workout, but they're kind of cheating. They're taking testosterone and maybe even steroids, and plus their intake of protein is above and beyond ours. A lot of these people have problems with their kidneys. So while most people don't need to worry about kidney damage from excess protein is a thing. So if people have pre-existing kidney conditions, you may want to consult and keep an eye on protein intake. Final point here, Dr. Mike, that I want to make on this section is protein can be found in unexpected foods. So most people think, and I'm going to go through a list of foods, but this is just a quick summary. Most people think of meats and eggs and dairy, right? When they think of protein. But you can also find it in spinach and broccoli and quinoa and avocados, pumpkin seeds, and even oats. These contain good sources of protein. And then your body needs the protein even when you're not active. People think, oh, just because I go to the gym, I need protein. Well, even if you're not active, you still need the protein. Like you were saying, Dr. Mike, that your body needs that strength to fight things. And there's other processes and hormone and transporting nutrients to your body that it needs. So even if you're not working out or doing physical activity, a lot of it anyway, your body still needs it to function for these vital organ processes such as tissue repair, support the immune system, like we had said, and then just maintaining healthier skin and hair and nails and other connective tissues. So it's really essential.
Getting back to my personal use of collagen, I use 3 different sources. I use a company called Ancient Nutrition. So I will just use plain collagen powder. It has protein in that. And so you can put that in water. You can put that in your coffee. You can put that in your smoothie. So that's a really simple source. Now they make a collagen powder with electrolytes. So when days I go in the sauna, I'll just put that in there and drink that. So I get my electrolytes, has vitamin C in it, absorbs the collagen. It's not enough as a meal replacement, but I get my collagen and electrolytes. And then I have more of a 20 gram per scoop vanilla or chocolate based protein powder to make a smoothie, use that. So that's 3 different ways I get my collagen. And so I would like to just touch real quick on protein powders besides the ones that I use. And then I'd like to get your feedback, Dr. Gordy, on the one you use. And I'm curious if you do it after workouts, you can tell me. I know you like it in the morning for breakfast and a smoothie. So what are the benefits of protein powders? Well, weight management, muscle growth and repair. It's convenient. I'll let you jump in real quick. How long does it take you to make a morning smoothie with your protein?
I'll make enough for 2 servings because I'll have one right there and then. And I would say 10 minutes or less, Dr. Mike. It's not that long.
And that's a full meal, really. It's a complete meal. That's 2 complete meals, really. So.
Right. One for that day, and then I keep one in for the next day. I usually have like a couple of glasses. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's quick and easy, convenient, tasty, really, really good, easy to absorb. So animal versus plant-based protein powders, you just listed off a ton of sources of both the types of protein, but you have to consider how easy is it for you to digest? What's your digestive system like? What are they made of? How well they build muscle? And so animal-based protein powder sources really common are whey protein powders, casein protein powder, bone broth protein powder is what I use, but then I also use collagen powder. It has less dense protein content, but it is also a protein powder. So plant-based protein powders typically come in pea protein or hemp protein. And what's best for you? Well, it kind of depends on what you can and can't eat or what you allow yourself to eat. If you're a vegetarian, Don't get the bone broth protein and whey protein. And your fitness goals, do you want to be big like me and have huge biceps, or how well do you digest it? Long-term health goals. What's your collagen need? Are you making any bone broth to get collagen? Or are you just doing it through powders? And so you have to answer some of those questions. But here's some downsides potentially for protein powders. Sometimes you eat too much. And wow, that chocolate shake is 20 grams of protein. I put some strawberries and some ice and some coconut milk in there, and wow, that tastes. Blend that up, and that tastes like a shake. I'm going to have another one of those, and you're maybe doing too much at one time. Quality concerns. That's with a lot of supplements and food today. Is it pure? Does it have heavy metals? Does it have hormones in it? Does it have isolates? Does it have impure ingredients and artificial flavors and sugars? That's why it tastes like a shake or a malt, because it has so much sugar and artificial flavors. You might be missing out on other nutrients, because if you just take the protein powder and milk and chug it and you don't put the nutrients in also, like Gordy does with literally fruits and vegetables in there and good fats, you might not be you're only just getting protein. And if you do that excess, it might stress your kidneys out, like Gordy said. And then digestive issues. The protein smoothie that you make, Gordy, is super easy to digest because it's blended up. It has quality ingredients. You aren't chewing on a steak for breakfast that might be harder to digest. So how people use protein powders, kind of like I do. They put it in water with electrolytes. They put it in their coffee and blend it up. They put it in smoothies. Or my wife puts some paleo greens with hers sometimes, and some fruit and some other things if she doesn't want to put the actual fruit or vegetables in there. So really quick and easy and convenient. You can find stuff at a reasonable price too. So it can be a convenient meal by using protein powder. So I'm a big favorite, not just to drink all day, shakes and powders and collagen drinks, but to just balance out a really healthy diet. So getting back to that question, besides your morning smoothie and you save one for later, do you ever do that after a gym to have extra protein or anything like that?
Sometimes I'll go to the gym. I'll have something really quick, and then I'll go to the gym in the morning. That's after my workout is usually when I'll have a smoothie. If I do, I pretty much make sure that I get those protein, throughout the day as best as I can. And I know sometimes it's really difficult. And I want to let the viewers know that whenever, I know this time of year, we're getting close to the holiday season, a lot of sugars and those type of junk food. Whenever you're having like these cookies and carbohydrates and sugars, always include protein. In fact, any meal that you have that has a lot of carbohydrates, always include protein, because when your body consumes sugars or carbohydrates, they break down and it releases insulin in your body. And if you don't have enough protein to balance the insulin from spiking, that's a problem. You want to put, if you just have the sugar, boom, you spike. If you put protein in there, you might not spike. It might level off. And that's where diabetes and a lot of people with blood sugar have problems, is they don't add protein with some of those carbohydrates or sugar. So really important. If you're going to chow down on your cookies for the holidays, which I don't recommend, but if you do, make sure you get protein with that. So, Dr. Mike, I'm going to go over 3 quick points. Then I actually have a list of 9 of the best animal-based protein sources, as well as a quick list of the non-animal, 9 sources of the best non-animal sources, and then just 3 additional sources that I can go through. I'll break it up. I'll pass it on to you, but I want to cover 3 things really important in my opinion. The first is that fake protein or meat, generally referred to as plant-based or lab-grown meat alternatives. Caution, they are usually using high-processed ingredients containing added preservatives, flavor enhancers, artificial colors that makes them resemble real meat. The Impossible Foods, they use a soil derivative that mimics the bleeding of real meat, which is genetically engineered. So fake meats contain additives like stabilizers, thickeners, and preservatives. So read your labels, probably not the best source to get your protein. And then protein needs as we get older, after the age of 50 years of age, most people do not meet their recommendation of protein intake. So 31 to 50% of older adults don't meet their protein recommendations. So a study shows that this deficiency really correlates with lower intake of essential nutrients because you don't have the protein and a decreased physical function as a result of not getting those nutrients. So really important. The third point is some protein sources could compromise your gut health. Some people just can't break down some whole plant foods like beans or lentils or some vegetables. That's an issue that some people should be conscious of, and they probably do know what their body can't handle. And the other thing too is with some of these sources that can compromise gut health is trans fats. So some plant-based meats are made using oils such as seed oils that may contain trans fats, which increase cardiovascular and heart disease risks. So look for healthy fats, avocado, extra virgin olive oils. These are good fats. The best animal sources of protein, I'm going to jump right into it, Mike. Number one, I like this, eggs. It is a complete protein source containing all 9 of those essential amino acids with about 6 grams of protein per egg. Number 2, chicken breasts, one of the leanest and most popular protein sources, and around 26 grams of protein per 3-ounce serving. Number 3, turkey. Similar to chicken, turkey is high in protein and low in fat, offering about 25 grams of protein per 3-ounce serving. The next one, fish. I don't know how you feel about this, Mike, but fish is one of those things. It depends on where you get it. I'm going to breeze over this because there could be a lot of mercury and other toxicities because of where the fish are being found. And I'm just going to leave it at that. The next one is Greek yogurt. This is a great source of protein, approximately 10 grams of protein per 6-inch serving. Then you have lean beef. It offers around 22 grams of protein per 3-ounce serving, and it's also rich in iron. Then you have cottage cheese. It's a high protein dairy product with about 14 grams of protein per half cup. And then you have milk, preferably raw milk. It contains about 8 grams of protein per cup, and it's rich in calcium and vitamin D. So that's my list of the best animal-based proteins, and I would highly recommend look for organic products, range-free, and use an app called Yuka. Yuka, you can scan the barcode. It's an app from your phone. I believe it's still free. You scan the barcode, and it'll rank that food on a scale of 0, meaning unhealthy, all the way up to 100, meaning really healthy. And if it's around the mid-range, 50 or 60, it might tell you why it's ranked there instead of 100. And it could be anything from too many preservatives or additives, or it could be too much sugar or too much salt. So it's a great resource to check if you're getting a good source and a good product. So Yuka, that's the name of it. So before I get into the plant-based protein sources, Mike, I'm going to go right back to you.
I started using the Yuka app because I got tired of the other one I was using. It's free. If it's 80 score out of 100 or higher, it has a green circle by it, so it's clean and good, and can be all the way at 100 out of 100. But yeah, it's a really, really good app to use. And thanks for sharing that great source. The only fish I really eat are anchovies and sardines because they're small fish. I get it from a clean source in water, not olive oil, so it leaches things from the product container. But I actually eat our anchovies and sardines a fair amount, actually, for the good omega-3s and the good protein content. I just wanted to touch real quick, since we don't have a lot of time, Dr. Gordy, is on protein bars. I see those in our local co-op and health food stores, and you see them at Walmart and Walgreens and everywhere else. The biggest challenge I have with protein bars is there's not a ton difference from Snickers and candy bars. Because you can say, wow, 20 grams in this little bar, maybe I'll just have that for lunch. But like you said, you're just going to have that? You're going to have anything else with it? And then you got to look at the source. You have to check the ingredients. Does it have trans fat? Does it have sugars? Does it have artificial flavors? Does it have poor quality source of the protein? It might say mostly organic or all organic, but is it isolative whey or is it soy protein? Isolate that's not quality. you got to look at, you go, oh my gosh, there's 25 ingredients and I don't understand half of them, and there's 20 grams of sugar. Well, that's going to cancel out a little bit of the sugar, like you said, when you have protein, but is that the best bar you can have? And you really got to search long and hard to find a really, really good quality protein bar. There's a bulletproof collagen protein bar that has standard process. They have 2 to 4 grams of sugar and really high quality ingredients, but I don't know any name brands off the top of my head that are really, really good quality protein bars if you're on the run or traveling. Do you have any recommendations in that department, Gordy?
No, I'm with you, Dr. Mike. I've taken that Yuka app, and I've also did some online inquiries, but use the Yuka app and check it out. If I feel like I want to treat myself to a snack and I'm not too concerned about my sugar intake, that's the only time I'll have those protein bars. I personally have not found one. I'd rather take a egg, boil them, and then have a hard-boiled egg when I feel the need that I want some extra protein.
Otherwise, just eat candy bars and enjoy it.
True.
All right, finish. Take us home here, Gordy.
All right, I'm going to go through a list of plant-based protein sources. Lentils, about 18 grams of protein per cup. Chickpeas, about 15 grams of protein per cup. You got tofu, it's about 15 gram, 4-ounce serving. Then you have tempeh, a fermented soil product with about 21 grams of protein per 4-ounce servings. You got quinoa, about 8 grams of protein per cup. Seitan, it's a wheat gluten. It's about 21 grams of protein per 3-ounce serving. Peanut butter, about 8 grams of protein per 2 tablespoon serving. You got hemp seeds, a plant-based protein, about 10 grams of protein per 3 tablespoons. And then chia seeds. And these are about 5 grams of protein for each 2 tablespoons. And then seeds and nuts, these are good things to have throughout the day. Almonds, 6 grams of protein per ounce. Pumpkin seeds, about 7 grams of protein per ounce. Then sunflower seeds, about 6 grams of protein per ounce. Then other considerations, you're talking about protein powders, Dr. Mike. I recommend the organic protein brands. Check it out. I think it's really good. They're all healthy. They eliminate some of the pesticides and fertilizers and genetically modified organisms. And plus, you get 50 superfoods in addition to all the vitamins and minerals that are already in there. I almost use it as a multiple vitamin, even though it is a protein source. And then look for vegetables for your protein source as well, either broccoli or even spinach, and mix it in with your smoothie or just take it separately. These are good sources of protein as well.
Awesome. I think that was really robust information, really good, complete analysis of protein and how much you need. And you probably need to listen to this again and take some notes. I go through the end of our shows always by asking, what's your number one takeaway that you can share with family members over the holidays? And as you're eating protein on your meal, whether it's a turkey leg or a piece of ham or a egg dish, quiche or egg bake or boiled eggs, just deviled eggs, however, you're having the mixed nuts, whatever. As you're eating protein over the holidays, maybe what's your number one takeaway that you can share with a family member and discuss to see if they're maybe getting enough protein? And then number 2 is, what's your number one action step that you can start today? Can you calculate? Get your calculator out on your phone and find out exactly how much protein you need per day. And then if you eat 3 meals a day, break it up into 3 meals and then put it on your fridge, like Dr. Gordy said. So maybe that's a number one action step, or just look at your ingredients if you're eating too many protein bars, or look at your protein. If you aren't getting any collagen, maybe look into a source of that to get 30% of your protein from that. So what's your number one takeaway? What's your number one action step that you can take today? So with that, Gordy, great show today.
Awesome stuff. Next week, let's talk about things that you can do to prevent the colds and flus. It's that time of season, and there are a lot of people that are immune compromised. So I think it's going to be a really important subject. And we'll give tips on things that we do personally and other tips to build your immune system so your body can fight those microorganisms that cause colds and flus.
Yeah, be sure to tune in. That's a great topic. Great topic.
Yep. Thanks for joining us on the Healthy and Eagle podcast. But first, hit that notification bell. Please like our content. Please share. And we appreciate you. See you next week on the Health Angle Podcast.
Thank you for joining us on the Health Angle Podcast. Please subscribe to our channel and catch us for our next episode.